Folks, about 3 weeks ago, I made a video talking about how I was retiring Arbiter on my account in 2024, late 2024, going into 2025, and there was a fantastic member of the community, the best member of the community, who left a comment saying that, hey, if you have pinpoint gear, just go ahead and put it on your Arbiter. You're going to get her a lot faster. And I had to reply at the time, hey, I don't have pinpoint accessories. I have like one banner that was trash for the High Elves faction, so that's not something I could do, unfortunately. When I made the video, there was no inclination of the event dungeon coming back. There was no guarantee it was going to be pinpoint gear, all those sorts of good things. Now, a few weeks later, though, we do have the event dungeon live, of course, and we do have the ability to farm pinpoint gear once again. And the reason that's important is because I now have gotten myself a few extra accessories that I was able to slap on my Arbiter, finally taking her above the threshold of speed that I was able to get previously. Now, previously, my Arbiter was kind of hard capped at 369 speed because I just couldn't really seem to get any upgrades for her in terms of gear. Like I mentioned in one of my videos as well, this particular speed piece has been on her for the last, almost 5 years at this point. This was one of the first pieces I got farming Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss back in the day. Actually, sorry, no, not Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. I would have got this from Arena back in the day during one of the resets, and I just haven't been able to get a better chest piece. So these accessories really helped out in that department. I want to take some time to, first of all, show off my new Arbiter build, take her through some Arena content, those sorts of things, but also just talk about the importance of farming pinpoint gear inside Raid Shadow Legends, because certainly there's a lot of players that are kind of on the fence about it, especially when it comes to, more mid-game players, early-game players, perhaps players that can't really stretch their accounts to reach stage 20, 25, and 30 of the event dungeon, and I want to give some additional context and just let you know how important this gear is. So what makes Pinpoint so good? Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. It has a 9-piece bonus where you get accuracy, speed, accuracy, and intercept stacks, speed, 2 intercept stacks, accuracy, speed, and 4 intercept stacks, which is pretty cool. Intercept is essentially going to be a block debuffs that gets removed 1 stack every time a debuff is blocked. So for example, if you would have got polymorphed and you have a stack of it on, the stack is going to disappear, but you just won't get polymorphed. So it's very cool. However, what is incredibly good about this set is if you look at these 3 set piece bonuses, so you'd get 40 accuracy as well as 10% speed, and that is incredibly strong because obviously we're going to have 3 different accessory slots that we can use, and this is something that's been talked about and beat to death by so many players inside the community, because we can now combine Savage and Stone Skin. We can combine Stone Skin and Supersonic, or Stone Skin and basically any other set. It's just Stone Skin and something else at this point in the game. Let's be honest here. However, having this gear set on has now allowed me to go from 369 on my Arbiter all the way up to 382, which is an absolutely insane jump. When you get to the late game and the end game, you're farming quite literally thousands of energy, possibly tens or hundreds of thousands of energy over your time inside the game to even get a small upgrade for your account. So having a gear set that has now allowed me to go up by over 10 speed is just ridiculous in terms of how good that actually is. And then of course with this, if I were able to get a 5-piece set, it would be even stronger. Now with Pinpoint specifically, I do think it falls off a little bit after the 4-piece. I think there's better 4 pieces that you could combine this with essentially, but that's not it. So for a long time, kind of the area that we've said to farm for silver is going to be the Spider's Dungeon, because you get yourself, of course, the accessories, which are going to be the most valuable items in terms of silver acquired. With the event dungeon, however, you can also get accessory drops on top of these gear sets, obviously, right? And I don't know if they tweak things, but it does seem, for me at least, that the drop rates are a little bit better for pinpoint gear. With these accessories, they are guaranteed to be pinpoint accessories. So there's not a chance of pinpoint. It's just kind of a yes or no. Does it give you an accessory? Yes, if so, it's going to be pinpoint. No, if not, you're going to get some gear from this pool, which could still be the pinpoint gear, of course, right? And why that's important is because you can come in and farm this dungeon and you can get yourself a lot of silver on the accessory pieces that you don't necessarily need. All of these sets, so these 5 sets here, crit rate, accuracy, curing, daze, and crit damage, they're just straight sells, right? You don't need them in the late game, end game, certainly not. Maybe mid game and early game you can get some use out of them, right? But they're not really going to see any use on your account later on, so they're straight sells, so that's easy silver. Then if you get pinpoint gear, it can still be a sell, which would be additional easy silver, but if you do decide to keep it, you're getting yourself a very strong gear set that you can use. Now, if you imagine on your account, let's say that you're just trying to progress, right? Great Hall has always been a very important area to progress because of these accuracy and resistance bonuses. The quick and easy version of it is roughly 10 accuracy per stage of whatever content you're trying to beat. So for example, if I'm trying to beat Dragon Stage 1, I'll need 10 accuracy to land my debuffs. If I'm trying to beat Dragon Stage 20, I'll need 200 accuracy to land my debuffs, right? So you can get a good amount of accuracy from inside the Great Hall, maxing out at 80. However, again, with pinpoint and with that bonus, if you come down here, right, this is going to give you 40 accuracy if you have enough accessories to fill this out. And that's not counting any other bonuses that you may get from the set. So for example, on an amulet, there's a chance that you can roll a substat of accuracy. On your banner, there's a chance that you can roll a main stat of accuracy. Not to mention, you're also getting an additional 10 speed on top of any other speed bonuses you might get. So for example, with this banner, it's an accuracy main stat, but then you also have a speed substat. So this can really help to move the needle on any sort of account progression that you might be trying to do, right? In all honesty, having pinpoint on your account could quite literally be the difference between clearing a stage and not, because 10% speed is a lot of speed, especially when it comes to the late game, especially when we have champions that are constantly power creeping other champions. So we have our Mons, for example, who's a support champion with 108 base speed. Everybody is eventually going to get an Arbiter who has 110 base speed. Even Lady Mikage is coming in with 115 base speed. Everybody's going to be able to get her eventually. Other mythicals are almost just as fast, right? Even the damage dealers are 103 base speed. So worst case scenario, in the current meta, you're getting yourself roughly an additional 10 speed guaranteed by having 2 of these accessory pieces on your champion. And then with those 2 pieces, you're also going to be getting 20 accuracy. If you can get the full 3 pieces, it's going to be 40 accuracy, which is pretty insane. And one of the other gear sets that we've had introduced recently is going to be, of course, the Feral set. But not everybody's going to have access to this, right? Because Feral is kind of locked behind the Siege mode, and Feral is very good when it comes to speed gains as well as accuracy gains, so it is kind of a direct upgrade in terms of accuracy. But again, this set, you can in no way guarantee that you're going to get it, right? So it's predicated on having a clan that takes Siege seriously, and then on top of that, you also have to depend on winning the Siege battles. Whereas with pinpoint, you can very much just go into the gear dungeon, dump your energy in there, you know, overnight or whatever it may be, because we have Supersonic is kind of a very strong alternative for our 3-piece sets. But even for a 3-piece, it's going to be the same bonus essentially as a pinpoint set. So all this is to say that pinpoint is so incredibly strong, and it's far more accessible than a lot of other gear sets that we have inside the game, because even Supersonic, for the really good stuff, it's going to be locked behind hard City of Centranos, which even I, as a late game or, you know, maybe very early end game player, struggle with. So there's going to be a lot of players that just simply can't farm that, right? We're going to go ahead, we're going to do some battles here inside the arena with our newly built Arbiter, and hopefully we can win some speed races to just kind of show her off. That being said, though, if you guys are farming the event dungeon, go ahead and let me know what stage. I'd be very interested to hear it. It looks like this is going to be a terrible showcase to start off because we get outsped, which is a bit of a shame. They do have a stronger aura than us, though, which does kind of make sense. Did they have an intimidating presence, though? Only a 3-star one on the Arbiter there, so we are a little bit slow, unfortunately. Let's go ahead We'll try this team. Why not? I have a feeling the Siphi is going to be a little bit faster, but it is what it is. That being said, though, like I was mentioning, if you do farm the event dungeon, just go ahead and let me know what stage you are able to farm, and you know how you're liking it essentially, because I'd be very curious to hear about that. I know people are having different experiences. This is a fantastic showcase so far, by the way. I like how I hop into the classic arena, and it's just like, hey, these two teams that you're going to go against, they are incredibly faster than you. Granted, I also picked like the hardest teams that I could potentially find. I also have a feeling that this particular account is probably going to be faster than me because they have similar player power. They have a 6-star Awakened Arbiter, which gives her additional speed stats. But it kind of is what it is. We'll go ahead and we'll get outsped once again as well. All this is to say, you can kind of see how important the speed is for my account even. So 380 whatever speed she's at now might seem like a lot, but all things considered, it's really not, right? Like, you need... If you're trying to go head-to-head, especially in PvP for late game, you're going to need more speed than that to really get stuff done, essentially. Because champions are so damn fast these days with the higher base stats coming out, like the Awakenings, these gear sets that you can use. Obviously, masteries and whatnot can affect it as well. Something like Supersonic can allow you to cut in. I'm going against 6-star Awakened Arbiters with my... 2-star Awakened Arbiter, so I'm not going to judge it too harshly here. This is an insane team, by the way, for PvP. Let's see if we can take this out. I'm kind of curious. They don't have any UDK or anything like that, so we might be able to get something done here. As expected, we are a little bit faster than this tanky Go Second team. Go figure. So we'll go ahead and we'll see if we can't take them out. Of course, Taurus is going to be a little bit annoying. He's going to take out my Lydia. We don't get the decreased defense on the Marichka there, which is a bit annoying, but we are going to go ahead and wipe them all out. And then Lydia blocks the revive as well, so you can kind of just come in here and get some work done. And so, to kind of conclude, farm the event dungeon. The event dungeon is super important. If you're curious, I'm farming stage 25. I haven't been able to find a team that consistently takes me up to stage 30 quite yet. Probably going to find one and make a video on it at some point. This is the particular team that I'm rocking here at the moment, so if you happen to have this team, feel free to go ahead and copy it essentially. Keep in mind, Taurus can essentially be replaced by any sort of HP based or just tanky damage dealer, so if you have like a Harima, he could fit in there perfectly fine. It's just with Marichka and Taurus paired together to counter attacks and stuff like that coming in from the boss, considering she has an AoE A1 is very, very strong. And he can do some chunky damage. So make sure to go ahead, let me know down in the comments what you think, let me know the teams you're using, all those sorts of good things. As always, thank you guys all so much for the support on the video and the channel, and I'll see you next time.